thing. So I have this blue pill and this red pill dichotomy that I found back in like 2017. 2019 rolls around, and now I'm hearing about this black pill thing where it's like, and so I had to go to the internet and I just started looking up things, and I come across like Sandman, Alpha Male Strategies, these types of YouTubers, and that's kind of what brought me into like the whole red pill thing. And I thought this was like some secret underground, like, okay, this is how people don't know about this. They make the whole dichotomy about blue pill, red pill. Blue pill is what society wants you to believe, and red pill is like, okay, you gotta juggle all these women and you gotta be like some sort of player. And I thought that was like the secret underground, like, this is how guys have to be. And then it would later lead me to fall into like,
this girl was like, you're like a really nice guy, and I really like what you do. You want to hang out sometime. Why? So you can steal all my money, bitch? MGTOW!
I was introduced to the whole manosphere thing, like the red pill crap,
I'm trying to be red pill.
probably when I was 16, because it was late 2017, and I'd be on the bus home from high school watching Sandman videos. So it was started out with MGTOW. That was the first thing I ever discovered with the whole, like, nowadays you could call it like the looks maxing self-improvement community. And it's gone through many names, and it's gone through every grift that you can think of. Yeah, it was like 7 years ago, right after I got my first girlfriend. I don't remember exactly how I stumbled upon these types of videos, but I remember coming across Sandman on YouTube. And at the time, that crap blew my mind. Like, the whole female nature thing, I never really thought about it. This was like before it was mainstream. I never really, it just wasn't part of my thinking. There was no duality between sexes for me at that point, thinking about, girls were still like a mystical thing to me then. And what that kind of community did to me was, like, as a young man, 16, it kind of, I had to compartmentalize that into like, women are a thing now that I have to decipher, and there's a set in stone way to deal with them. And I felt like I had to, absorb this stuff so I can, figure out the secret. There's like a secret. I started coming across terms of like female validation. You can't give her that much attention. You have to, almost treat them bad, and I really fell for that. I mean, there's some truth to it, but it's not. I thought it was cut and dry, don't give him any attention, wait to text back. Oh, there's another YouTube channel. I think this was the first YouTube channel I came across. It was called like Base Zeus, and it was some guy with like a very theatrical voice talking about how to text girls to make them like you. And I thought there was like at the time, I thought there was like you had to follow steps in order to make someone like you. You had to perform a list of actions for someone to be attracted to you. And since I wasn't driving at the time, as a young person, you're limited by your parents driving you around places. So at that time, you're limited by, you can't drive, so most of the time we're Snapchatting each other back and forth. I didn't think we were calling each other that much yet, but I had to figure out dating dynamics. We'd meet up like a few times a month. It'd be weekends because we're at school and I'm training. I'm doing martial arts at the time, and it was these videos that was these online internet videos, like putting things in my head about how to text and act around girls and how to navigate that whole thing. Don't pursue, don't chase, this whole be like alpha and masculine. And it's funny because when I was around her in the summer camp, this was like 2016. my whole idol was Conor McGregor. So, you know, I'd be next to her, right? Standing all tall and crap, you know, having good posture. And I remember she would like tell me like, "Oh man, you're so intense. Like you're so, you know." I'd stand up straight around her. I'd like, it's funny. I like do the mewing thing. I didn't even know what mewing was at that time, but I'd be like, you know, I was just awkward. I still kind of am, but I'd be like, oh, you know, mysterious and you know, like stoic. I didn't know what that stuff was at the time, but you know, I'm gonna be. It almost kind of came natural, just like being quiet. She'd be standing over there. I'd be looking straight, like, yeah. I can't believe that crap even got me a girlfriend or whatever. But I remember because we were at a summer camp. There was like a girls section on one floor and a guys section on one floor, and I don't know how like it happened. We all exchanged Snapchats, and she was basically hovering around me the whole time. And as with zero experience, I kind of knew like, okay, maybe in my head it was like because I didn't have girlfriends in school. So I was like, does she like me? Like I don't know. So we all exchanged Snapchats, like all the kids, cause like 12 people there. I mean, actually it was pretty packed. I think it was like 20 kids, and she'd like always sit next to me. We'd all be playing games. She'd be playing like Jenga with me or whatever. And I don't know. I said some crap to her. I'm like, you know, I was trying to be smooth and shit. Like, oh, through the grapevine, I think I heard like, you know, we would be good together or whatever. And that same night, like we were texting each other. I snuck out of my dorm room. She snuck out of hers. Like we met in the stairway or whatever. We just started. Where are we now? I'm like, dog, I don't know. And I guess I just called it there. Like, I guess we're dating or whatever. I didn't know. We're texting every day. And I didn't know what I was doing. And so I had to go to the internet and I just started looking up things and I come across like Sandman, Alpha Male Strategies, these types of YouTubers. And that's kind of what brought me into like the whole red pill thing. And I thought this was like some secret underground, like, okay, this is how people don't know about this. They make the whole dichotomy about blue pill, red pill. Blue pill is what society wants you to believe, and red pill is like, okay, you got to juggle all these women and you got to be like some sort of player. And I thought that was like the secret underground, like this is how guys have to be. And then it would later lead me to fall into like it started as like, okay, these are like the secret ways not to be like a simp. I remember like 2017, that was like the first time I came across that word, watching it on my phone on the bus on the way home from school. You know, not to be a simp, you know, don't give her too much attention. Like, don't be like the other guys where you're orbiting her, like being around her. So I had to create, like, I thought the best way to go about a relationship was having her text me first. You know, I'm gonna be the distant, you know, cold guy, mysterious guy that's not gonna go out of his way to, you know, let her know that, you know, she's pretty or whatever. I'm gonna not even say anything. I'm gonna make it all about me. She's gonna come after me. And I think that's what ultimately. Plus, there was like distance. You know, we weren't seeing each other every day. Most kids in high school, when they date someone, it's someone from the school. So, you know, that always ran in the back of my head, like, oh, there's another dude or whatever. So I try to play this whole distance thing. I try to be, you know, that cool, mysterious guy of silent, and you know, I'm not gonna text every day. Well, I did. At the beginning, I was kind of like that, you know, good night, kiss emoji, you know, I love you, whatever. That didn't come till later, because that was like a whole, you know, scary thing to say to each other as kids, like, oh, when do I say I love her or whatever. But that was my introduction to like the manosphere. It was the whole red pill thing, and you know, being like bossing up, like being distant, being like a player or whatever. That was really my junior year of high school, because we it started like drifting apart probably 8 months in. That's a decent block of time. We were seeing each other on weekends, and things started to drift apart. Like, I remember the program that we all went to. We'd be together there, and we would do stuff during the week sometimes. I wasn't really adamant in public or going on. I'd keep my distance or whatever, but from summer come to spring next year, we started, it started drifting. We started drifting apart, because if she wouldn't text me, I would hardly ever text her first, because I thought that was, keeping that distance. Never chase, never go after.
Supposed to be red pill.
And I'd just be binging these whole female nature videos, Sandman type videos, like, the gynocracy. We live in a gynocentric society. I always, even before I had the girlfriend, like a couple of years before, like 2015, 2016, I kind of knew feminism was bad. You could call it, I had my little misogynistic era where when things started to fall apart with the girl, I was like, girls are stupid, just go in the kitchen or whatever, stay in your place. Guys do guy things, girls do girl things, we're very different. I started like going into that whole community, started hearing about like Rollo Tomasi. I started getting into all that stuff. I was like 17 years old. This was after the breakup. I had bought the whole Rational Mail talking about, spinning plates and, throwing slight disses at women to, like, neg them. That's what it would be called. To, get a one-up on them. You always one-upping them. And then I'd hear about, like, then it would get into the whole red pill sphere would be kind of shifted from like having status and get your bread, get the money. That's what girls are attracted to. And it kind of, there's like a shift where it was, okay, it started off like, looks aren't important, be the strong provider. And you see it nowadays is the whole looks maxing thing, where now it's almost like they drop the whole status and money doesn't really matter to like this. We go from like this red pill thing to what's more mainstream now is like a whole black pill. Like, you have to look a certain way. You had to now it's about looking good, and you have to have certain facial features. You have to be a certain height. Because when I first got into red pill, they were saying, it doesn't matter if you're 5 feet tall. You can, all that matters is you have to be, confident, and you have to have status about you, and you have to carry yourself a certain way. You have to have like frame, and you have to never show weakness. I also try to do that when I was in a relationship, going like from 16 to 17 years old. I even if it was just like random girls I was around, like have frame, like be like look strong, and almost like in an autistic way, I dived into that rabbit hole of, never showing weakness. I'm this guy. I just started jujitsu. I'm doing Muay Thai. I'm this like super alpha. The world can't get to me. And I really adopted that sort of mindset until around senior year of high school, when after that breakup, I just went into this like very nihilistic, like, this is a gynocentrism. Why should I try? I'm not gonna go after women. I'm the so-called prize. Like, I'm the man. And I would after we broke up, we would like get together for like a day. I'd always play like that distant game. My senior thesis was, and I got really down. I got into the whole masculinity movement or whatever. So like, this is 2018. I'm writing my senior thesis on like your high school, your writing report that you have to do before you graduate. I did it I did it based on masculinity in America and, you know, the whole thing with paternity tests and making sure, like, just not being weak. I didn't want to be weak. I think that's what got me into martial arts in the first place, or was what kept me in it, was a fear of weakness, and I didn't want to be, because I always felt like weird around other kids, and you know I got picked on a little bit. I look different from the town I come from, and you know I wanted to be the boss dude, you know, and at that time there was a time where I didn't date for a few months, and I kind of got to me, like I'm watching all these videos and. You know, I gotta be masculine, and you know, we're in this gynocentric society where men are made to be like almost like batteries. That whole Matrix analogy with the red pill and the blue pill, where that comes from, is you know you gotta provide and get married, and how marriage is bad because you know women get rewarded for extracting the resources from the man they married if they divorce them, and it's like a male punishing system where you get married to the woman you fall head over heels for, which you're not even supposed to, according to the red pill philosophy. It's almost like she's going after you the whole time. And you know what they say the blue pill is men worshiping women, like giving them everything they want. While the pool boy, you know, he uses his frame and his masculinity. You know, a guy builds up his wealth and his resources just for his wife to cheat on him with some random guy who was more red pilled than he was, while he's kissing her feet, buying her $10,000 rings and handbags. You know, you got this pool boy sweeping in with his game, with his cold game, coming in and, you know, spitting out hot fire in her ear, and she's getting all hot and juicy from it. And while this guy's paying for everything, this pool boy comes in, the mailman comes in, does his business with her, you know, for nothing. He puts no money into her, and boom, she's pregnant with his kid, and they get a divorce, and the guy with the child that's not even his, he's got to raise that kid and pay for him. So I was in that mindset for a while. 2017, 2018, I was in that mindset of like, I'm not gonna, you know, why should I run after a woman when she could do that to me? Like, why am I gonna worship a woman who's beneath me and potentially lose my assets and all that? And I just looked at people differently. Like, I'd be in public and I say, "Wow, look at that, you know, sucker following his girl around. She's running in front of him." And yeah, that was interesting. And then I came across another, not really relationship, but like a situation where, so I was still 17 at the time. I'm training or whatever, and I'm still kind of into that whole. It's kind of getting old for me, the whole manosphere, red pill. So I was like 2 years into knowing this stuff. I understand this. This is like late 2018, early 2019, and I've been broken up with my first girlfriend for a while, and I'm still trying to be all masculine and stuff. And then another one comes around, and this was like my first experience as like, you know, casual dating, situationship, where I slid into my DMs. Well, I'm gonna cut this part out, but it was a more low-key thing. I was doing this more low-key thing with a girl, and it wasn't official or whatever, but turns out she had a boyfriend at the time. This is where my whole perception is like, I'm seeing the other side of it. Like, I didn't know she had a boyfriend, you know, we're doing intimate stuff or whatever, and I'm being the whole red pill, like, I don't care about her, I'm not even falling in love, like, I'm seeing it for what it is. It's like easy sex or whatever. It was a completely different mindset. Well, kind of similar but different. The beginning was different. Like, falling in love for the first time is a whole, like, rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, and you fall in love and you become so attached to the person, you know, your first love, and you think it's gonna go a certain way, and you become completely infatuated, obsessed with this person, and you kind of put them on a pedestal and respect them more. And then you go through like a year of red pilling and manosphere, and the next one is like you're such in that mindset. It's like you can't even allow yourself to fall in love again, and you have this like cold exterior to yourself where you're all masculine, and the girl you're seeing is you put her beneath her instead of above you, because that first time you fall in love, you put the girl above you, you buy her flowers, you try to impress her. And after going through all that and learning online, watching these videos, these Manosphere Sandman videos, it's like you get into the next one and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna fall in love with a girl now. I'm gonna just go after the physical pleasure of it. I'm more detached. I'm doing sneaky link more than like a godsend, like a girl falling down from the stars. It's more like it's a big ego boost because you're not putting a girl on a pedestal. You're just two people, pleasuring each other and with no attachment. And in my head at the time, that's like maximum masculinity. At this point, I'm kind of searching for like what's true in life and what's right. And I stumble across some like Christian stuff, some like theology online, people talking about how now you have to be good. It's not about being a bad boy all the time. You should have some goodness to you, and at the same time, I'm kind of dabbling into this new black pill thing. So I have this blue pill and this red pill dichotomy that I found a couple years ago, back in like 2017. 2019 rolls around, and now I'm hearing about this black pill thing where it's like, okay, red pill is wrong because it only addresses sexual relations or man and female relations within the context of a man-made society, where red pill, PUA people, manosphere people claim if you build your wealth and resources, which apparently in your status, which apparently women only, that's all women care about in a guy, no matter what he looks like. It kind of shifts into this sexually centered rather than a provisional and societal and status centered. It becomes a sexual, genetic, material. Who makes the woman hot and horny. Rather than what makes a woman feel safe or wanted or gives her clout. So that's like the sneaky pool boy link, which I felt like I was in that situation, which gave me ego because it made me feel like I had intrinsic value in my genetics. So I start going down this, black pill thing. This is like 5 years ago now. And it kind of feeds into that nihilism of like, if I'm not, because that whole hookup situation, all the hooking up and stuff started dying down. High school was coming to an end, and I felt like my value wasn't only attached to what I can do, but who I am physically, my body. So, okay, black pill is I have to look a certain way. And it's crazy all this stuff's mainstream, because I never thought any of this would be mainstream now. But I even knew what mewing was too. Like I knew what mewing was like 5-6 years ago, because it kind of tied into the red pill, but they didn't make it seem as important as what black pill was making it out to be. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 5 foot and you're rich, 5 foot flat, like you're short and ugly. There's nothing you could do to organically create that sexual desire. And that started playing with my head, because it kind of died off that time I was going into college. High school was ending. I was breaking things off, and there's like some empty space there, and I walk around with this mindset. Okay, is this girl looking at me? Where do I stand? And I was still kind of dabbling into the whole religion thing of being spiritual, of like, stuff shouldn't even matter. But I never thought any of this stuff would be mainstream. Like the whole, um, you gotta, you gotta look good, you gotta hook up with people, and then it started turning into being traditional, and have one person that you're gonna live your whole life with and carry on a lineage. But then there was this like conflict in my mind of like, okay, that's kind of blue pill. That whole being a present father in a system where you work all the time to raise kids and have Wonder Woman. And even when I was in college, I was kind of conflicting with me because why am I gonna put so much effort? Because in college, I wasn't really, I was still being that cold, almost out of fear, like cold, cut off type of guy where I didn't go after people because I thought that would diminish my value. I'd, be running after people trying to get something from them rather than just being me. And that kind of fed into like a little bit of nihilism that I had. And I kind of just said, because the whole black pill thing is like, oh, women will come after you if you look good enough or whatever. But no, I kept it real low key. I didn't go to really any parties. I was there for like a semester from like summer of 2019 to like winter. As soon as winter breaks came along, it's like, I felt done with it. And there was whole like, in college they had this whole like liberal propaganda, leftist. It's like a whole leftist thing, and in my head it's like, why am I going to this? Why am I going to this facility where girls use their magical, pretty powers to copy off answers, get the answers from these quote unquote simps who, when they get the slightest lick of attention from a girl, will create a whole group chat to give out answers in hopes of creating attraction with them, when I have to sit here and study. I'm not saying that always happens, but this was like the type of stuff that was going through my head. Like, if I'm not being celebrated, if I'm not going to parties, if I'm not living that whole college life of drinking, because I wasn't drinking at all during the time, that'd be years later. Like, I just started like doing the whole, party. And when I turned 21, I had my first beer, and I didn't really drink unless it was like, and I still don't unless it's like a whole social gathering. But I really wasn't into that whole party. I always had that like, standoffish type of attitude. And and I started thinking because maybe I look different from other people. And it was just a bunch of nihilism. I didn't want to continue to pay for college where I wasn't really getting that college experience. Then lockdown comes around. I enroll in my local community college. And boom, lockdown happens over spring semester. And then it was like a period of almost no socialization for me. So it was like, I'm not really hanging out with girls or whatever. I'm getting them off my phone. Like, I block them. All the girls I had contact with, blocked off. And it was like this period of me online listening to this crap, letting it, infiltrate my brain. It's just chronic online type of activity. And then a couple of years into lockdown, this stuff starts going mainstream. The whole dating app studies of like, you use a super attractive guy, he can get all the messages in the world. And it was like, oh, what's the point? If the end goal is for me to get married and then possibly cheated on, like, why even participate in the whole society if my job is to be like a taxpayer slave? It's interesting. Yeah. So, I don't know. Is this a teachable moment? Maybe. I just got that huge ego boost when I did started dating. I thought I was entitled to rule the world if I could get a girl, but it's not really the case. I think there's an important learning you have to go through when you have like a first girlfriend, where you have this like sort of, it's almost like a game. I thought you had to play the game when you had a girlfriend. Like this was when I was 16, 17. Of like, oh, I can't text her too quick. I can't show up. But this was like a few months in. Like the first month I was with this girl, I started to soften up with my first girlfriend, where I like say, "Oh, you're beautiful" all the time, and I'd say it more over text, but I'd be on her shoulder, you know, I'd be hugging her all the time, and I'd see like other dudes. Once I did started getting that like colder attitude, I'd see other dudes like flocking around girls, giving them all attention, and I'd be in my head like thinking, you know, what are you doing? Like you're simping, bro. You're simping. And it kind of created like a sort of bitterness of the attention girls could get from the opposite gender just based off them existing, and the whole gynocentrism and how laws and regulations all favor them, and the whole Me Too movement, and it was just like created that also contributed to my cut off behavior, like that cold, like, you know, I'm gonna be super masculine and not care. I'm not gonna be all lovey dovey. I can't be all lovey dovey.